We're heading now to the room, the Last Supper, which for me it's more than that. But before that, there are two people that goes out. There actually goes out from the tomb of King David, and above it is the room, the Last Supper. Let's talk about that tomb. That room in a Jewish perspective, because let's face it, Jesus was a Jew. Then he came to Jerusalem 3 times a year. He had to be there as a Jew. This is Shloshet Regalim. 3 times God told us to be in Jerusalem. One of them is Shavuot, as you know it as Pentecost, 50 days after Passover. Passover is another another holiday that every Jew must be in the city, and that's why Jesus came to here. He didn't came for Pentecost; he came for Passover. And another place that mentioned in the Bible, New Testament, is Sukkot, the third time that every Jew must be in the city. But let's talk about Passover. As a Jew, you had to do the Passover meal inside the city. Then, in that case, think about what will happen to you. And if you reach a city, and let's say Olympic Games, and you will try to find a place to live. You know that the prices would go up, will rise, up. Then, in that matter, what I want you to understand is that God knew that and told the Jews who lived here, listen, you are living in a whole city, you must give a family that you don't know a place to live for free. Think about you. Are you going to give your place to someone that you don't know? No, but some people gave the roof. And that's one of the name of the curriculum of the room, the Last Supper, the upper room. That's why we have to climb up from here to the room that is above it. And I want you to remember that there is a tomb of King David, a Jewish place. Think about it. We will continue to talk about it later on. Let's climb up to the room of the Last Supper. Welcome to the room of the Last Supper. It's coronavirus time that you can see that two things happening here. First of all, there's only one entrance. You cannot go out from there. Secondly, it's empty. It's Pentecost. Usually there are hundreds of people here. Let's talk a little bit about the room itself. Because there are two people, I don't know, pray or not praying. I don't want to disturb them. They'll understand here. We know that some of the Christians, Catholic for example, believe that it was Passover meal, and let me tell you as a Jew, it was Passover meal. Some of the Christians believe that it was the day before. That's why the Catholic eats the holy bread ostia, which is a matzah bread. That's what the Jews are eating in Passover, and the rest are eating bread. The first question that you will ask me is about the room itself. No, it's not from the 1st century. We believe that it was from the 12th century. The story of Jerusalem and Israel is not about destruction. And if you watch the movie of King David tomb that I uploaded just a few minutes ago, then you can see the stairs that lead to the tomb, and as you can see, it's closed too. A little bit of history. This is a Christian place. Beneath you, it's the tomb of King David, which is a Jewish place. In the 14th century, the Christians and the Jews were fighting of that place. Who will own the building? They went to the Muslims, the Mamluks. The Mamluks told them to go away. They're Jews, and go away. They're Christian. From right now, it's going to be a Muslim place. Then they turn it into a mosque. You can see here the mihrab. You can find something like that in every mosque that tells you where Mecca is, and from here you can actually pray through Mecca. You can see some sentences. Oh, look at that beautiful stained glass made of. It's a Muslim stained glass. It's beautiful. Right, it's not praying, then you can go there. Look at that sign. The Muslims turned that place into a mosque, and they actually mention here that they threw away the pagans and turn it into holy site. Another thing that they built here is that room. You can see the entrance, which is sadly closed now. Usually it's open on Shavuot, Pentecost. And it's a replica of the tomb of David there. And beneath it is Jerusalem. The Jews and the Christians were allowed to come here in Pentecost or Shavuot, but only to the replica. 1948, it became to be part of Israel. Sadly, they didn't, if you ask me, it's supposed to be a Christian place, not a Jewish place, but again, the idea that the church will be on top of a synagogue is still difficult. Two more things that I want you to see, actually three more things. First of all, a tree. This is the present that we got from the Pope in the year 2000. It's part of the letters of St. Paul that tells the new Christians why they hate the Jews. The Jews is the trunk. If you cut the trunk, the new branches will die too. Beautiful to see that. You think when he gave it us, he actually thought about one branch, but three different religions from the same source: Christian, Muslims, and Jews. Here you can see a Muslim place that above King David's tomb, or Prophet David according to Muslims, and you can see here a pillar, a column from the 12th century. Shows you a mother falcon that couldn't feed her own chicks, and she decided to feed her own chicks from her own flesh. This is the story of the room of the Last Supper. But if you're talking about the room of the Last Supper, for me, that room is much more important than a regular room, because I think the name is a wrong name. Room of the Last Supper tells us one thing, but so many things happen in that room. After the meal, which is very important because a day later Jesus will be crucified. When he resurrected, he came to here, and then the story of doubting Thomas, and before that, he washed the legs of the feet of the disciples, which we are doing it until today in almost every church. And the most important thing, it's now, it's Pentecost. Why Pentecost is so important for me? Then let's start with it. The first Mass ever was held in that room. Jesus said, eat that bread, it's my body, drink that wine, it's my blood, and we're doing it every day in every church. It doesn't matter what kind of order or what kind of church. Then the first Mass ever service was held here by him, Jesus himself. The second story, which is important for me, is Pentecost. The disciples were here not because Jesus told them to be in the room. They were here because they had to be here as a Jew. 50 days after Passover, there's no reason to go all the way to the Galilee area. Then he told them to stay here, and then at Pentecost, holy fire went down from heaven straight to them, and people started to talk in strange languages. And in that case, for me, this is not only the first church ever, this is the center of Christianity. If you ask me, this is the reason that it must be part of the Christian world. Which part? I'm not going into politics. Before we leave out the room, I wanted to share two graffitis from the 12th century. I think German graffitis, and there's the word Allah right here. To make it more difficult, because it's a Jewish place, you can see a mezuzah at the right part of the door, and that tells you that you're entering into a Jewish place. We'll go outside. You couldn't see it before. You can see the Dormition Church, and according to the Catholic and Greek Orthodox, that was the house of Mary. Then that's where she died, fell asleep, according to different orders. Room of the Last Supper. It's usually open until 6, but again, Corona time, it's not easy, but that room was closed for a long time, for at least 2 months, and we opened it yesterday, or 2 days ago. May 28, 2020. The room, the Last Supper. Pentecost place. Such an important site for the Christians, for me, one of the most important sites for the Christians.